I want to talk about what the most important thing for closing more deals is going to be. And what's that one thing that you feel like if you have that down, then everything else is going to fall into place?
You got to know your pricing. It's hands down the number one thing stopping contractors from closing deals in one call. You got to know your pricing. If you don't know what something costs, how can you be
And this means
confident in a
everything.
home?
Or like, so we've
Y-
seen like, we don't
Yeah,
want to be giving ballparks over the phone. We don't want to be giving ballparks in the home. Customer saying yes. We go home, we write an estimate, we send over an email. Like, you got to know every single thing down to materials, what your subs are like, what does your plumber charge? What does your electrician charge? What does your cabinet guy charge? So that you're showing up, you can just, you know exactly what number you can stand confidently behind because your margin is already built into the price, right?
yeah, yeah. So it goes. The problem of it is you talked about subs, right? And all the people who are going to do the work, right? You have to have the same. You have to have some type of continuity along those lines too, right? If you're every time you got to like rough out some plumbing, you got to get a different guy. You're already losing, right? So a lot of it is about building connections, right? Like I mean, life is all about connections in general, but you have to start building relationships with people that you can literally partner with all the time, right? Now they're also subcontractors, so they can still work for other people. That's fine. But if you build a relationship with a crew, plumbing guys, electric guys, that you know, okay, I'm getting enough work that I can keep you fed, and then you still can go do other work. Great. But if you have to go figure out what crew is going to do your job, and essentially every time you get a job, you got to find a crew. You've already lost, right? Because then that's wildly variable when it comes to what you're paying for the work that's actually being done, right? And like you said, I mean, we had a client, I'm not gonna mention who it is, but quoted somebody, got a yes in the home,
Yeah. Customers like,
went
that sounds good.
went home, didn't have his pricing together, sent them back. It was $2,000 more than what they said yes to. So you know what happened to that yes? It immediately became a no. Because now you feel like, oh, you bait and switch me instead of just being like
Yeah, but
confident
also
about
like they probably like even said yes, but then they're like, oh well, like it's kind of like weird if you say yes to something and then they all of a sudden are like if someone says yes, then you're like, cool, let's do it. Like you call the Uber,
yeah,
like we like we always like to joke about, right? You don't want to
right,
talk
right.
yourself out of the sale.
Oh,
You don't want to go home and write a proposal. Like you want to know those numbers like it's the back of your hand.
no, man, you can't. Nobody in real world scenarios are going to, say yes to one price and then say yes again to a higher price. That's not happening, right? Like you can't go to a steakhouse and they sell us $65 for the fillet, and then once the fillet comes, like, my bad, I have my numbers wrong. It's $80 now.
It's like, what do you
Man,
mean?
send
What
it
happened to the
back.
65?
Yeah, I don't want it anymore. Send it back. Like,
So like and it seems like it keeps coming up in the one-on-ones, right?
yes, too many times that like, and I'm like, well, why did you quote them a different? Well, because I didn't know how much I was going to be getting charged to do this, and that's why you have to have your ducks in a row. You have to know your numbers. Like your labor charge shouldn't vary, right? Like you should have crews and you on board. This is my crew for this. This is my crew for that. I'm not into the variables, right? Variables and surprises I can't deal with, right? Like my dad used to say, I can take good news, I can take bad news, I won't take surprises. Right. And the
Mhm.
surprise of having a different crew every time is going to cost you
I
money. And
can already hear
eventually,
some contractors like screaming like, "Well, there's always going to be surprises. You tear open a wall, you don't know what's behind the wall."
yeah, but those write that into your contract, right? Like, so your pricing should already have surprises built into it, like reasonable surprises, right? You know, if you're tearing off a roof, first of all, you've already inspected it. Like so if you know that you're walking on it and it feel like you might fall into the living room, then you need new decking, right? So and you tell the homeowner that, right? Like, okay, well, we supply the first 3 sheets of decking, but you need a whole new deck. That's going to cost you an additional whatever, right? There are going to be surprises. I'm not talking about those type of surprises. I'm talking about from the homeowner standpoint. Like if I tell you it's gonna be $45,000, and then when I go home and I realize I messed up my numbers, and then I tell you tomorrow it's $52,000, we do not have a deal
I'm not buying from that contractor. No way.
at
I
all.
was
And that's
renewing my
how
kitchen. They're like 45 grand, and I like okay.
exactly. But that's how you get. That's how contractors
And
get
then they
bad
come back with 52.
reputations.
It's like, what do you mean? Like, are you not ready? Like, have you worked on a type of kitchen like mine before? Like, what's and all these doubts creep up. They're
And
not
that's
going to
how
move forward.
and that's how
And it's don't blame the
contractors.
lead.
No, right.
Don't blame the
Don't
lead.
blame us. Don't blame the lead source. This is poor preparation, and this is how contractors get bad reputations. These are the common things, right? Baiting and switching on pricing. I mean, that's what it feels like to the homeowner, but they don't realize the contractor just doesn't have their numbers together. So they're just like, you told me one price. I said yes to a price. And again, if the homeowner tells you yes, because this was the same client, they got a yes, didn't even get anything on paper. Please don't do that.
This is another story I remember, and this was an ADU. So ADU, larger job. You know, realistically, it's not like a one coat close like a kitchen, right? There's moving
No.
parts, right? You got to
Yeah.
do the city, designs, plans, permitting, all that stuff.
Oh,
But step number one is, well, we can move forward on, a development plan. Like,
of course.
$1,000 will secure your spot in line. We'll start working with the
Absolutely.
city. We'll start drawing out the plans. Like we can move in the right direction. No obligation to move forward, but this is just going to secure your spot. We can, and I, one of our guys was talking to a customer. The lady was like, "Yeah, that sounds good to me. Like, how do I move forward with like talking to the engineer and architect now to start drawing these plans?" Guy says it's $1,000, and she's like, "Okay, cool." What does the guy do? He literally goes home, calls his architects. He's like, "Hey, give this lady a call. She said she wants to set up an appointment with you. She'll pay $1,000 and she'll start working on the plans." And then he comes back to us and he's like, "Well, but then she never got back to me. So blah blah blah." And I was like, "Dude, the deal was right there.
Yeah.
Like,
It's I
not
know.
only knowing your pricing, but like being like, if customer says yes, you should have your contract ready. You should have credit card terminal slash you can write this check. Like, well, it's cash, credit, debit, like whatever you want. We
Yep.
got financing providers."
Shout out to Heart.
Right.
Shout out to Heart.
Like even the customers with
Like,
money, like who's gonna have $65,000 in checking account? Maybe they
like I
do, but
said,
realistically, they're gonna have it
yeah.
somewhere
No, I mean, like
else.
I said in one of my videos that that they can go and watch part of our crash course. Like, yeah, even if they had the money under the mattress, they don't want to spend it with you. like, like they want something, they don't want to spend all their money at once, right? So like that's why we use financing and stuff like that. But yeah, man, when the customer says yes, call the Uber. Like you got to be ready to go. Like you can't be like, well, because no, that's I'm like you went out of there with a yes and then get a dollar.
When you say it like that,
Nothing.
it's like it's true though.
Like, no, but it happens too much. It's like, okay, great, we got a deal.
Or like even like the if 80% yes, for customers like, okay, well, like how do we go about this? How do
Yeah,
we, what are the next steps? Like you tell them like, yeah, next steps right here. I guess like,
yeah.
how do you want to take care of the investment? Check.
Too many, too
Like,
many times.
don't talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, too
But you're
many
not going to get
times.
there unless you're able to give them a number that they can say yes to inside the home. Right?
Yeah,
That's number one. So like the whole
yeah.
point of this is the reason why this is the first module in the sales course is like the biggest mistake we see is not knowing the pricing.
You got to know it. If you don't know it, figure it out. You have to. You just have to know it, and you have to be prepared. And you can't be fumbling over your iPad or laptop to try to figure out. Once the homeowner says yes, how are you going to now transition the yes to actually putting it on paper, right? Like you have to when you present the proposal, and that proposal should come with options on how to pay for it, right? Cash, finance. You should give them two. Hey, this $20,000 job is half down, half upon completion if you're using cash, or if you want to use one of our financing options, we can get you about $150 a month. How's that sound? And they'll say, "Oh, well, yeah, I don't have that type of cash. I want to finance." Great. Well, let's we finance most of our jobs. Now, let me ask you, credit score start with a 5, 6, or 7. I'm just trying to figure it out because it's me and you versus the bank. You don't look, people get real iffy when they start trying. You're doing business. I need to know your money. It's okay. Don't be afraid to ask, right?
Hmm.
If you're about to offer somebody a finance opportunity, they're gonna have to give you everything anyway, right? So it's okay, but you don't get to that point if you don't know how much what you don't know what your product costs. You don't get to that point to begin with.
Right. So this is step number one. Right.
Know
So
your price.
like before you call any of the leads, you gotta know you got your suppliers, you got your subs, you know who you're gonna call for what job, you know what they're gonna charge you.
Absolutely.
You're not gonna be given any more ballparks, right?
No, we're giving exacts.
We're given exactly this is what's gonna cost.
Right. And again, the numbers and the pricing should already have surprises built into it. I can't stress that enough because, like you said, we've heard it enough. Like you tear back a wall, and yeah, it's construction. You're going to find something. Unless it's extreme, you should already have that built into your price. And then your contract should already have the extreme surprises. Hey, if we find that here, we'll stop, we'll call you and tell you how much it's going to cost. But if it's something more than what you have built into your pricing, they should never know. You should just handle it. But too many times, guys are running around here with razor thin margins, and they're running everything almost a dollar for dollar. So when they tear open the wall, they don't have any money in the budget because they don't know their pricing.
Mm-mm.
Buy for a dollar, sell for two. That's what you do, right? That's how this works. If I paid, if I have to pay $200 for something in this industry, I'm selling it to the homeowner for $400. That just covered me for any type of surprise I got to deal with. And that's why you don't buy stuff from big box stores that have price tags all over stuff that people can go look like at, because essentially going to Home Depot is like the customer buying it as a supplier. Like you're going to like, customer direct, right?
Yeah, and we have
That
some guys that will like have a great conversation inside the home, and then they're closing the deal is like they're not even taking the deposit. They're setting up a follow-up appointment with the homeowner to go like meet at Home Depot.
exactly.
It's like a disaster.
No, but that's so many times, and those are the contractors I love as a salesperson because I'm gonna kick your ass because you don't know what you're doing, right? If I'm taking you to Home Depot, the homeowner can go to Home Depot and ask a person in an orange apron, and they can do exactly what you can do if that's the case. Like we're handing them off to Home Depot is not professional. Like this is supposed to be a seamless process. The homeowner shouldn't know how the sausage is made, right? Like they just want to enjoy the sausage. They don't need to know that you had to grind the meat up. Like that's why you go to suppliers. You build relationships with people who can get you all the time. One, they'll get you better products for the same price as Home Depot. Let's be clear. Home Depot is at a crazy markup because they're selling to DIYers. So they're trying to make the money that a contractor would make if they were selling it to like a customer, right? A supplier is going to get you something at a more wholesale price, not a retail price. Those are two different things. You should know that when you're talking about pricing. That's why we use suppliers. We want wholesale pricing so we can then sell at a retail price. And that's where your margin comes in. That's how you make your money. If you're buying at retail and then selling it at retail, how much money are you going to make?
And that's where you win as a contractor. You're the most prepared.
Of
You get the
course.
materials at the best prices. You already know what your subs charge. You're confidently able to price the job exactly inside the home. Your margins are already
Absolutely.
built in there with contingencies in place in the contract. If something crazy comes up, you tear
Of
down
course.
you open the wall and there's just like mold grown, something crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's all built in. So what's the customer going to do? Like, are they going to go talk to, like guys that come to us to say, "Hey, she just want to go with the cheapest number," blah blah blah. Like, it's because everyone sounds the same.
Yeah.
And it's
And
very easy to win as a contractor because no one does what we just talked about. No one.
exactly.
Like
And the
it's
reason,
very, very rare that
yeah.
guys are like that dialed in with their process. And the guys that do,
No,
they crush it, right? They go to every appointment and they're closing like crazy because no one else has all their ducks in a row. They don't.
yeah. I mean, you can't win if you don't have a strategy.
I
Your
mean, if you're
strategy, like
calling like your uncle from the barbecue, like, oh yeah, this is what's let me let me go home, let me figure it out. Like, sure, right?
yeah,
If
like you
it's like a high
said,
school like reunion, blah blah, I don't know. Like you're just
yeah.
kind of dealing that way. Like that's probably what you've been doing before you found us. right?
Yeah,
So this is the first time that we got to take a serious look in the mirror and figure out, okay, now we got to dial our process in so that we're able to confidently bid inside the home. Because this is
it
different.
has
This is
it.
sales. This is not dealing with a family member.
This professional sales. Like there's like I they have to get the mindset of being a professional. And they think just because they put LLC behind their business name, they're professionals.
Mhm.
I can go get an LLC right now for like $90. Let's just be real. That don't make you a professional. Your methods, your habits make you a professional, right? Being better than the next person. Again, like you said, is it a yes if I have to go home and then give you a price? It's not a yes. That's a contingent yes. We want solid yeses, right? So the contractors that work with us, they have to get their numbers together, right? Like it takes it might take a couple of days. To really, if you're not using suppliers, get with a supplier. You can walk into your local supply shop in any city and say, hey, my name's Willie. I'm running this business. Here's my card. This is what we do. I'm just looking for a solid supplier to help me grow my business. What are they gonna say? No, their job is they're salespeople too.
Mhm. And
What?
like you said, they're going to give you samples. They're going to connect you with
Samples,
people.
free lunch. Oh my God, contractors will take you to the nicest restaurants because they want to get more money on it. It's great. So it's fringe benefits too. Like, what, you want a steak? We just talked about steak, right? Man, a supplier will be like, oh yeah, it's lunch. Let's go to this steakhouse. Like nice steakhouses. You know what I mean? They'll drop by your office and bring you stuff. Like but you have to build those relationships with them because your pricing with them will be contingent on your relationship with them. You get so much better deals if you have a relationship, right? You know, I can still call my guy right now and if I needed to get whatever I needed, right? Because years and years of relationship building, right? And then when price increases happen, and they happen all the time, that's another thing we have to be, as a contractor, the market and the materials is going to go up, right? But if you have your numbers together, you can absorb those price increases without having to feel like you're risking your margins.
Mhm.
And again, if the price increase is insane, then the homeowner has to they have to carry that. That's just how business works. But the supplier gives you a heads up. Hey, next month this is going to cost 3% higher or whatever it is. So now you can already build that into your pricing going forward before the increase even happens. It's about pricing. You have to know your numbers.
Yep.
And if you
Moral,
don't,
moral of the story, like we gotta know the numbers. So
yeah,
below this video, there's gonna be a lot more, nuanced
of
stuff to help
course,
you get prepared. Price
of
versus value
course.
report, company story. None of that matters if you can't get a yes inside the
Yeah.
home.
Yeah,
Doesn't
if you
matter.
can't smoothly transition to actually closing the deal with your numbers, no matter nothing you do before that matters, right? Like it matters, but if when you get to the point of no return, the moment of truth, and they say yes, you need to be able to confidently slide that iPad or laptop around and say, all right, well, that's all we need here. This, and this. Boom, boom, boom. Shake hands. Love you, Mr. Smith. You've been a great time. Let's go. Not, hey, meet me at Home Depot tomorrow and we'll go through some options.
Yeah, or guys that have a showroom, right? Showroom's probably the most overrated thing.
The
The most overrated thing in construction.
THEE.
And it's gonna
The
piss a lot of people off. I know.
I don't care.
Like you're
The
delaying the
most
process for no reason.
they think it makes them look like buttoned up and professional. And that's great. It only elongates your sales process. It only elongates. Listen, I've sold windows, right? And I can go to Pella, and Pella has a showroom. You think I ever took a homeowner to Pella? Absolutely not. I have Pella samples. If I'm going to a window appointment, I have Pella samples.
Hmm.
I'm not taking them because Pella also wants to sell your homeowner. They're not your friend, they're your competition, unless you treat them like a business partner. So yes, I don't. No, 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 no. Showrooms are overrated, man. I look, they're pretty and everything for the casual shopper, the DIYer. I don't want to live in a showroom. I want to be in your house. I'll bring the work to you. Again, this is a white glove experience. This is not your traditional, dusty
We'll
hoodie
bring the
backward
showroom to you.
house. Yeah, we'll bring the
That's the
showroom
whole
to
idea.
you. Like
That's what's
we
gonna
are
cost.
professionals. I got it all for you. Whatever I'm selling you, I got samples for you right here. Because we're making a decision today. I'm leaving here with something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Don't go
So
home. Don't go home and send an email. Do not do that. You will lose.
no, 99 times out of 100, if you go home and send an email, you might win because all the rest of the guys are also going home and sending emails.
Yeah, but like if you're the one guy that did in the home, like you are such an advantage. And trust me, they're not doing what we're saying in this video.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
All right, Willie.
Like I said,
Let's
we'll
think
go
about.
into it further and
We'll go into more
we'll,
detail in the following
yeah,
modules, but
absolutely.
get your prices in order. Know what things cost.
Amen.